and I don't think that anymore.
No. It's,
you know what I mean?
The whole thing has changed.
Well, because like when I watch stuff, sometimes I'll watch stuff and I'll be like, that's not going to work at a club, or like in a normal club, like it might work at like Top Secret and stuff. But then I'm like, but it's very relevant.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe it's quite a good thing that it wouldn't work at a club where people aren't paying attention to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's a different format. Long shows are a different format.
Yeah, because they say like the living room effect. Like I was like reading about this on the internet about like, is a comedy special good? Like, is the true test of funny if it's funny when you're watching it in the living room later?
Right, on your own.
Yeah, and there's a good debate of like, okay, well, if it's funny in the room but it's not funny in the living room, is it still funny?
Yeah, that's interesting. And that's the difference, because in club comedy it has to be funny in the room.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be funny in the living room. But in the special, it's the opposite. It doesn't have to be funny in the room because they like you.
Ideally. Yeah. I mean, ideally, like the point of the special is that people are gonna like it when they see you. I watched like just a clip of Ricky Gervais's new special, and he's killing, but it's not that.
Oh, it's shite.
Yeah, it's not great.
I've been to see him live, and it's shite. But the place is going, and you're looking around, and none of these people go to comedy normally. Right, we'll get started here, Willie. Right, so what we do, we leave a 10-second silence, and then... Sure. Yeah. Okay, hello and welcome to Opium of the Masses with myself, Jack Hester, and today's guest is the wonderful Willy Hannigan. Willie, how are we doing?
Good.
How are you doing, Willie? Willie, of course, was named his parents. They named you after the character in The Simpsons. Is that right? You were named after.
No, you're actually the only person who thinks that my Instagram handle is my name.
So what's your name?
Will.
Oh, so it's not Willie.
No,
it's not Willie, but
it's close.
So you're not named after groundskeeper Willie.
No, I'm not. No, my mom hated The Simpsons. She hated any cartoons that had weird voices.
Right. So, but were you Will or William?
I'm William.
You're William. Yeah. So you're named after kind of... I suppose,
grandfather. Have you met him?
No, you're named after your So he's William as well.
Yeah. I'm technically William. My girlfriend's broken this all down. She knows my whole family tree.
Right.
There's 5 Williams. So you could say I'm William the 5th, but since there's a gap in between me and another William, or sorry, one of the other Williams, I'm technically like William the 3rd in my family.
Does it... Well, if there was 4 Williams ahead of you, you're William the 5th. There can be a gap.
But if there's a Bob in between any of those,
I don't think that matters, because with the Henry VIII and all those, they weren't always chronological. I don't think.
You're gonna have to take this up with her.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue.
You're either Willie the 3rd or Willie the 5th.
One of the two. Yeah.
Willie the 5th. Okay. And all right. Well, we'll get straight into it then. So this is Opium the Masses. This is about people's religious beliefs and.
Okay.
Right. Did you know that?
You had told me that, but I was thinking I forgot. I forgot what it was.
So the first kind of question I'm asking people is like, tell us a little bit about your upbringing and your first memory of religious education or guidance, and that could be from the home or from school. So where did you go? You grew up in Canada.
Grew up in Canada. Yeah.
City, town.
I grew up in an acreage.
An acreage?
We moved a lot. So small town, and then an acreage, and then moved into the city.
What's an acreage? An acreage is a farm, is that?
Kind of. It's like a farm with nothing on it. Like you just have like, I don't even know how to describe it. It would be called like a property here or something like that.
Right.
It's just like 3 acres. So like there was a Quonset shop where my dad ran he had an oil field company who made vacuums for the oil field for environmental cleanup. And so he had a big shop where he built all that stuff. That was 1 acre. And then the other acre was like our house and backyard. And then there was a 3rd acre, which was like a field of just kind of nothing that I go stand around in every once in a while.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So quite remote then.
Yeah, it was rural. I mean, but there's a lot of other, it's like, there's a lot of other people. There's so much space there that like you can have, there's probably like 10 houses on our block. And it took us 20 some minutes to drive into the town. Okay. And then another 25, 30 to drive into like the city.
That's not too bad.
So it's not really there. It's not really rural. Rural people would think that you're city. Right. And city people think that you're rural.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're caught between the two worlds.
Yeah.
There.
No one likes you.
No one likes you. Yeah. Right. So do you remember your first introduction to, is there religious education in schools in Canada?
Yeah, there's Catholic schools. Yeah. A lot of Catholic schools, Christian schools. I don't know what there's Islamic schools. I didn't go, but
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
They wouldn't let you in?
No, that we're trying to get rid of them. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, I went to a couple Christian schools. I went to a public school, and when I was 9, and we would say the the Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Yeah.
In a public school every morning.
Right.
And then I think they changed that.
Oh, you do it every morning?
Yeah, every single morning we'd say an Our Father, and then we'd do the national anthem. You'd sing the national anthem. You'd stand up, you say the Our Father, then you sing the national anthem, and then you start school for the day.
Wow.
In your classroom. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
And then, so I don't really remember. I guess it was like a French Catholic small town that I first grew up in. And my parents never wanted us to go to church, never pushed us to go to church. We go on, like, if my grandma came into town, we would go to church.
Right.
Because she was really about it. But both my parents had Catholic upbringings, really Catholic. My grandparents were very Catholic.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want us to have to go through the same thing.
So they were, would you say anti-religious?
Yeah.
Anti-religious?
Yes.
Atheists?
No, because I asked them.
Yeah.
We'd always ask them because at that age you start getting introduced to religion by other people outside things, and they'd tell you stuff. You go home and then you ask your parents about it.
Yeah.
And my parents are always pretty cool. They'd always go, well, as long as you're a nice person, you're gonna get to wherever you gotta go.
Right.
Wherever there's to go, if you're nice to everybody, you'll get to go there. And then I went to a Christian ice hockey camp when I was probably 13, and we were having a Bible study. And my coach was talking about the Bible or whatever. And I asked him, I said, well, if I'm just nice to everybody, my parents said, we'll just get to go wherever there is to go. And he said, that is not true. He said, you're going to go to purgatory for 7 years. And then the Lord will decide whether or not you get to go to heaven or hell. And I just remember thinking.
You were 13?
Yeah, I was like, what? What the hell? I was like, well, who's keeping track of the time? And he was like, that's none of your business.
Jesus Christ.
It was, yeah. So that, I remember I came home from that and I was just in a shambles. I thought.
Your parents are misleading you.
Yeah, well, I thought that they had no idea. I was like, you guys didn't, I just learned. I thought it was heaven and hell. I didn't realize there was a third thing.
Yeah,
Did you know there was a third thing?
I wouldn't have. When I was 13, I wouldn't have known because I don't. It was never really. I went to a Catholic school, but they never really talked about purgatory.
Really?
Not really, no.
I mean, that was the only time I ever really heard it. But I've thought about that every single day of my entire life. Where if you're undecided, you'll just spend 7 years kind of like in a holding cell.
Yeah,
just floating around.
So if your parents are they're non-religious. When you were a child, like the first time you know someone or encounter someone who's died, what your parents' explanation for that? Or
they're dead.
That's it. Like,
well, yeah, I don't even think they ever even explained it.
Yeah,
they were just like,
see,
you kind of pick up context. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're at a funeral. Everyone's crying. You're like, well, they're dead.
Right, but did you think they went to heaven or?
I mean, I don't think that anyone ever talked. What things like when my mom's, because my mom's dad died when she was 10, so I never met him.
Right.
And then her mom died when I was 10, and then all my family members would talk about how she feels like she's she's here.
Oh, right.
So they would reference her being here still.
Right.
And that they feel her with us. But they never really talked much about heaven, except for I got one aunt who's fucking big time about it. Big time about it. Really big time. Where she would get me, like I'd go get babysat by her, and I was a very spiritual little kid, so I would talk about God a lot, and like especially over there, because she liked that. And I don't know if I was like spiritual at the time or if it was just like making her so happy that I was talking like this,
right?
That I kind of kept doing
People pleasing.
Yeah, and then I got home and my parents, I'd write poems and stuff, and my parents would be like, "Oh yeah, that's nice," but they would be like, "It's not real. Like, it's not real what they're saying. They don't know what they're talking about."
Yeah.
But
So you were so going back to this, so you were a spiritual child then. You were
you
were into it.
Yeah.
You liked the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And where were you introduced to it? I'm guessing because it was in school, and because your parents aren't bringing you to church really regularly.
No,
They're not telling you about it, so you're learning in school. You're just some kind of religious class in school.
yeah, hearing about like the stories and stuff like that, and then like coming home, and then my parents telling me it was all bullshit. The stories were all bullshit, but God's real. They would, they'd say stuff like that, like, "Oh, it's God's real," but all that stuff that they're talking about is bullshit. So it was kind of
confusing.
Sure, but I mean, nothing made sense when I was that age. You know what I mean? So it was kind of just like, "Oh, okay, well, sure."
Yeah. And then you'd play up to this auntie. What kind of stuff would she be saying to you?
My aunt, I'm trying to remember. I mean, she would just talk about God and the Lord and stuff like that. And she always had this look in her eyes, like she was also like partially blind. So it might have just been, she couldn't really see very well.
Yeah.
But she had like the spirit in her. She talked about like Christian stuff. I can't really remember exactly, but I do remember writing like poems and stuff about God and the universe and stuff like that. And my family, and especially her, being very excited about it, and my parents being excited, but also like, fucking cool it, like relax on this, tone it down.
Were they worried you might become a priest or something?
I think they were worried I was gonna have to go through what they went through, which was like abusive religious education.
How was it? How was there abusive?
How was the Catholic Church abusive?
Well, it was obviously like it wasn't abusive to everybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was for sure. Yeah.
Well, I went to a Catholic school, and there was still to this day now, touch wood, there's been no. There's plenty of schools in Ireland, like Blackrock College, which is a very famous school in Ireland. Jesuit, so it's kind of French Catholic or whatever.
Okay.
The very prestigious school in Ireland. Huge amount of abuse cases came out, but the Catholic school I went to, none have ever come out. And when I was there, I was there. There was 5 or 6 priests who were teachers when I was there, and they were all fine.
Yeah.
I never heard any rumblings. I never heard any stories. And the ones I taught,
did they hit kids?
So that's an interesting one, because I went to school, when I first went to secondary school was 95, and they had just stopped hitting kids.
They just canceled.
They had just stopped. And occasionally, like, a story would go around school where like a kid had behaved really badly and had been hit by the headmaster who was a priest. But the hitting had stopped.
Or slowed down.
Well, I think it had kind of, it was no longer official policy.
Right.
It was no longer official policy. But I do think that wasn't just, well, maybe it was. I always feel like that was like, because in my primary school, none of the teachers were priests, and they did hit us if you were bold. Like, I vividly remember one teacher, we were probably about 5 or 6, and it wasn't me. There was 2 boys who were messing or something. And I even think back of it now, like, it seems even crazier when I think back now. And the teacher just kicked the desk over, like, the two boys hit it like an apron. We all thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is pretty funny.
I remember going home to my parents, like, we were all a bit shocked by it. And then, of course, people start saying, oh, they'll be able to sue them and sue the school and all this. And I remember going home and telling my parents, and my mother was like, we've given them, we told them, they asked us, can they hit you if you're being troublesome? And we said they could.
What?
Yeah, I think
your parents signed a permission slip for you to get hit?
Yeah, but they were never...
Like it's a field trip?
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you probably don't have this... When I was a kid in Ireland, the kind of famous thing was the wooden spoon. Your parents would hit you hit you in the back of the leg with the wooden spoon. I used to
hear, when I'd hear the kitchen drawers opening at home, I would run. Anytime I heard the kitchen drawers opening.
It was painful, but I had a brother the same age as me, like, so we'd usually be getting hit at the same time, like, and we just...
With the same...
Yeah, so we always just thought it was painful, but it was funny, because it was always funny to hear the other person getting hit, like, they get hit. So it was nearly worth getting hit there,
Sounds like you
sort of
got a pretty good attitude about it.
Okay, so you think your parents were beaten up by priests?
Yeah, I mean, I think they both had issues with authority and stuff. Right. So they didn't like teachers, and most of the schools that they went to were Catholic. So I think that they associated those things. I had my grandfather, I just learned recently, was like big born again. And that was really hard on my dad, that he was that my grandfather became born again and
Right.
became very, very religious. But also, I mean, my parents didn't really like share a lot of stuff like that. So it was just like, this is all stuff I've learned later in life.
Right.
This is why they kept me away from certain things, and this is why they pushed me towards other things.
Okay.
So like for example, like my mom would keep video games away from us, right? And then push us to like go outside. And then same anytime we started doing something churchy, like we go to like a church thing, or like they'd have a group or like a field trip or anything to do with God, we could go do it. But then for some reason we transferred schools, or we went to something else, or like those permission slips never got signed again. But as a kid, you don't really make the connection that anything's happened, you know? But now looking back, I go, oh, she didn't want us doing any of that stuff.
Right, yeah. So some people can be anti-religious. And do you believe in God now?
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Yeah?
Yeah.
And how does that manifest to you? Like, what do you think everything's been watched?
It's a big question. I wish I had remembered to look at what this podcast was about. Done some research. Yeah, I think everything is. I don't know if because when I first I'm like a alcoholic, so I don't drink anymore.
Right.
So recovering alcoholic. So once you go into like the AA rooms, one of the first steps is accepting a higher power and sort of handing your life over to it, because the idea is that your life in your control, you're not doing a very good job with it.
Okay.
So you find a higher power, or you just ask for one and you hand everything over to it. And so the definition of that higher power isn't very strong. It can be like religious if that's what you're prone to. It can be very non-religious. It can be air or the trees, or like it can be really anything as long as it's not you.
Okay.
That's the focus of the program, is as long as you're not the person calling the shots in your life, then that's fine. Just make anything your higher power. And then so as you kind of go through and you detoxify from alcohol, and like you start going more into the program, like you start having a more clear idea of what the higher power looks like for you, or at least I did. That's how it went for me.
For you, yeah.
And so for my first year in sobriety, I just picked God as like the classic old white guy with long hair, looked like Santa Claus. And that's who I thought God was. Not that that's what it is, but for me, it was easier to picture that than anything else. And I used to like write jokes about it, about like, my God is not like Allah, he's more like Alan, Right. But it was just like an idea I had. I don't actually think that now. It was just something that I could use to pray to.
Yeah, there was a pragmatism to it.
Yeah, and just like being practical with it. And so now how I see, I don't even know. To me, it's more like life to me is like a river, and I'm always on one side or the other, or in it. And I'm always trying to cross the river, and I can swim against the river and get nowhere. I can try to swim across the river and get not quite to where I thought I was going to get.
Right.
Just further down. Or I can just stay in the river and let it take me.
And go with the flow.
Yeah. And I can feel some days I'm really fighting the world and fighting, what's happening. Or I can just go with it and go, this is all meant to be, Okay. And so it's not a definite like Abrahamic religion type God. I think it would be the closest to like Allah. The way the Muslims describe Allah being everything,
right?
And having one true God, and it's everything.
It's present in.
Yeah, I think Islam is like, out of all the religions, the one that I like how they see God. I don't like all the stuff that they get up to sometimes.
Yeah, but you like how to. And so did you ever hear that song, Que Sera, Sera, whatever it would be? Do you know that song?
I know the phrase.
Yeah. So there's a song, Que Sera. And when I was growing up, I don't think they do it now. When I was growing up, they used to sing at Irish rugby matches.
Really?
Yeah, when they were losing. When they were always losing. They were terrible. Like, they're good now, but they were terrible when I was younger. And it used to be my favourite bit at a match. Like, you'd have the whole stadium singing, Que Sera, Sera, whatever will be, will be.
That's beautiful.
The future's not ours to see. It's fantastic. Because it's that whole idea, like, just you don't have control over life. Like, what'll happen will happen,
Yeah.
And you know, Ireland was poor at the time. It was a good mentality to have, like, you know.
Just accept it.
Accept it. So, and how did you get on with the like? Did you the first time you went, was it successful, or did it take a couple of goes, or and was that a hard jump? Was that a hard thing to do to get over that first step where you accept a higher power? Like,
Yeah.
Was that a difficult jump for you?
No, it wasn't. That jump wasn't, because my life was at the time, like, it was, I'd gone to the end of the road. I was like, I kind of had tried everything to quit drinking, and I couldn't. And I had accepted that. So the day that I went to my first meeting, I had accepted that I can't limit my drinking. I can't stop it. I can't go on a break for a while, because I tried everything and none of it worked.
Right.
It all resulted in the same,
back to the same,
exact same binges and stuff like that. And then my life looked like that too. I was fat. I looked old. I looked like I was dying. I was sweaty all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was disgusting. Yeah, my feet stank. I never washed my clothes. You know what I mean? Like, everything in my life was about drinking. You know, and
it's mad. I can't imagine it.
As me here now.
Yeah. Because obviously, I've since I've known you, you've never been drinking.
Never. Yeah. And so, I mean, it went from like just normal to like pretty often to all the time.
Really?
To that's all pretty much I was doing. Everything else was like kind of ancillary to drinking. So doing shows, working, whatever I was doing, it all became like drinking used to be like, oh, this is the thing that I get to do if I do all my stuff well. If I do my life good, I get to go out. And then it became like, I don't care what happens as long as I'm doing this. So by the time I went to the AA meeting, and they had suggestions, and I was like fully on board. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah,
wow.
I'll believe in it. But it didn't take right away. Like, I went to the meeting, I accepted that there was a higher power, and I thought I handed my will and my power over to it. And so that's like steps 1, 2, and 3 are like accepting your life's unmanageable. I should know these. The second one is, I think it's step 2, accepting a higher power, and then step 3 is handing your life over to it.
To the higher power.
Yeah. So it's basically like, I'm fucked. I believe in a God or a higher power, and I'm willing to take my fucked up life and hand it over to them. That's like as far as I understand, those are the first 3 steps. But I did that, and then I stopped going to meetings. I kept smoking weed. But I stopped drinking. And so things got better for a while, but I didn't do all the other work.
Right.
And so still a mess, still a mess in the head, and still my life is messy. And then, a few years went by, and when I moved to the UK, actually, that's when I started going really regularly.
Going to the meetings, yeah.
Yeah, because pot's illegal here. So I was too scared to buy weed, because it's legal in Canada.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to convince myself that I was sober and I was just doing something that was legal. And then once I moved here and it was illegal, I was too scared to go buy some more. So I stopped for the time being, and then my sponsor and I worked through the rest of the steps. And so I haven't smoked weed in over 2 years as well.
Yes. And do you still have a sponsor now?
Yeah.
And do you sponsor someone too? Is that how it works?
No, I mean, I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I haven't. There's been a few people you've tried to sponsor, and it's common that you don't get through the steps with everybody. So it's not always. It doesn't always stick for people.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's a thing where it probably takes a number of attempts.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work for everybody. Like,
because drinking's so fun.
Yeah,
and
it's addictive. It's highly addictive.
Addictive, and it's a. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it's a great solution to all your problems.
Yeah,
if that's what you always do is drink.
Yeah.
So then, like, when life gets hard and all you know how to do is drink, then it's hard. It's hard to break that cycle. Or if things are going pretty good in your life and you recognize you have a problem, it can be hard until everything falls apart. That's why people say, like, they got to hit rock bottom first.
Yeah.
Is because, that's why there's so many functional alcoholics, because they go, well, I have a good job and I got a wife and a kid, and or I have things together enough and I can hold it together enough, but I do need to drink every day. So some people just don't get to that sort of.
to that kind of level.
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty interesting. But before that, had you? So you're younger. You're quite spiritual. You believe in God.
Yeah.
And then when you in the AA, you believe in God. Was there a time where you didn't?
Yeah.
Was there a gap?
Yeah, there was.
So tell me about it. So how did you come to not believing in God? And was it the AA that brought you back to God?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, now that you say it, yeah. So the Christian hockey camp I went to,
With the purgatory guy.
The purgatory guy, it terrified me. I didn't like, and like we were praying before and after games, and like, you know, praying, not getting any better at hockey. You know what I mean? Just losing, praying after, whatever, asking to be better, and but the camp was really scared the hell out of me, and so I was really kind of believed in God. And then I got a book when I was, I think, 14 or 15 by a very famous atheist. And it was called
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah,
is it? The God Delusion.
God is Not Great. I think it was his second book.
Okay.
And I read it, and it's basically, it just eviscerates every argument that there is for a religious organization. And a lot for God too. But that because of how like clinical that entire book is, of like proving everything wrong about religion, then it made me go, oh well, then clearly God's not real.
Right.
And it was very upsetting. I'm not blaming that on my problems or anything like that, but that was my big. I was like, oh, I'm an atheist now. So I was an atheist until I came back into the rooms.
You're atheist.
I was atheist.
Oh, after reading that book.
After reading that book,
you were an atheist. Okay, and then when you were an atheist, and then you think it was the AA that brought you back in.
Yeah, I think it was like, because I was so beat up that I was like, I didn't have a good argument. I didn't have that book anymore. I couldn't like flip through the book and go, well, God's actually not real because of this and this and this.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh fuck it, I can't. You know, I'd rather, because my buddies used to make fun of me. And he'd be like, or he'd argue with me about whether God was real or not. And I was like, well, if God's real, then I get to be sober. And if God is not real, then I'm going to smoke crack. So I'm going to choose to believe that God's real.
Right.
Because I don't care if it's real or not.
Yeah.
I care that I don't do drugs and drink myself to death.
Say, what do you think happens when you die?
God, it's quiet in here.
What's that mean?
It just is obscuring your face.
Oh, right.
I think it's because you just
sat down. Okay.
Sorry if this isn't that funny.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Some
of it's been funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's clips there. Yeah. That the poetry stuff, but don't.
Okay.
Just go with it. Like,
all right.
Not all of them have been that like.
Oh, and the book was by Hitchens.
Oh,
Christopher Hitchens. Thank you.
Christopher Hitchens. Richard Dawkins.
That motherfucker.
Delusion.
Go for it.
All right. So, what do you think happens when you die?
I think we just all go back to the river. Just all go back to, whatever it is.
So you don't think there's like a heaven or a hell or?
No, actually, I think the kingdom of God is here on earth. And
Right.
I think that's I don't know who that's from. I've heard it from Muslims. So I'll attribute it to them. I think all the instructions and stuff that you're supposed to lead a heavenly life, or a life that'll get you into heaven. I think the idea, or how I perceive it, is if you do all this stuff, or you do a lot of it, or you take on the spiritual foundations that a lot of these religions kind of give you, is your life will look like heaven. Your life will be good. It'll be full and it'll be great. And if you go against these things, then your life will be hell. And that's how I interpret that. After we die, I don't think anything. I think
After.
it's.
I think I'd agree with you there. I think it's just a metaphor, but I do think like when you are a nice, decent person, you have a more inner calm, and actually when you're going around being bad and doing bad things, you end up suffering as much as anyone else because you've got inner turmoil.
Sure.
And you've got chaos, and
Yeah, and here on earth is hell.
And you create your own. your own kind of hell there. So here's an interesting one for you, right? Let's just assume
Okay.
God does exist and there is a heaven, right?
Okay.
And you're up at the gates of heaven, and God says to you, listen, Willie, give me 3 examples of good things you've done in your life to justify me letting you into heaven.
I'd be like, you should know that. I'd get indignant. I'd be like, I'm not going in there.
He's like, do you remember that fella said you were going to purgatory? No one talks to me like that, you know?
Honestly, I get really upset at that question. I wouldn't believe that. I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? You all have all the information, especially if he's looking at a book of stuff that I've done.
Do you not want to get in?
Well, no, not if he's in there. Acting like that? Are you fucking kidding me? If anybody did that, they're holding that sort of power. You should know. You should know what I did.
Yeah, but he like, there's so many people. There's such a rush. He's just saying, listen, I do know, but just refresh my memory.
Okay, so you're saying he's like flicking through. He's like, I
Wait,
forgot.
what was it you've done?
We weren't expecting to hear this early, right? But you've chosen to be a cyclist in London.
It's been what a week I've had, really. Like,
okay,
do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I won't take it as personally.
Yeah.
What are 3 things that I've done that get me into heaven?
Basically, 3 good things you've done. 3 things that would be considered that show a bit of Christian way, or show a bit of, 3 decent things you've done.
Oh man. Why did you ask me that? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I guess I've had some conversation with some. The thing is, I don't know. I don't know. Oh man, that's a hard question.
Have you ever helped anybody?
Sure. I mean, yeah, fucking. But who hasn't? You know what I mean? I've helped people. But then there's always a part that disqualifies me. I think, like, there's a lady going through the pay gates and she wiped out and she fell and she was stuck under the pay gates with her knees under her. And so I took her bag and I like helped her up, and then she was clearly in distress.
Yeah.
And then I tapped my phone. I just left. I just walked because I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna? There's nothing I can do now. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't know if that would get me into heaven.
You tapped her through.
No, I tapped myself through. She's still got to fucking pay. All right. There's still the.
So hang on a second. Explain to me. So you've just walked away. You've left her.
Well, I was behind her, waiting for her to go so I could go.
Yeah.
She slips, falls onto her legs, like sort of, and she's older. So
yeah.
She's an awkward fall.
Right.
So I get her stuff, and then I help her up.
Yeah.
And then
you
set her to the side.
Yeah.
And then I tap through the gates and I leave.
It's okay. Yeah. It's not, you helped her up.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what I thought I was doing. If you were watching that, you're like, that guy just picked her up to get her out of the way to go through the gates. So I think it's a matter.
What did you have a God that's that on the VAR? Can you explain this to me?
Yeah, she's still bleeding over there. I'm like, well, blood's gross.
It's in London?
Yeah. I think that's nice for London.
You know what? That's the type of thing, like someone from a small town comes to London and sees that, and they go home and they just talk about it forever.
What I did?
Yeah, this guy came along, he just picked her up, put her aside.
And that's what I think is going to get me into heaven. That's me being a good person. I don't know. I do the dishes all the time. I cook my girlfriend food. I like make her lunch every day that I can. I like, I'm like really nice to her. I try to like, be nice to my little cousin and stuff. I don't, there's not like a lot of big things that I can remember that I've done. Maybe somebody else could remember some.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the little stuff, or more what I don't do.
Right. So a lot of people have gone for that.
I feel like if God was asking, I'd be like, look, I was going to do a lot of really bad stuff.
And I didn't do it.
I didn't.
Right.
So I feel like that should
count for something.
Yeah. Maybe that's why you're having such a hard time finding anything I did well or good, is because there's so much bad shit that I didn't actually do that I wanted to do.
Right. But you resisted it.
I resisted it. And so it let me into heaven, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, you look at, you've time to turn it around. You've time to.
What do you think gets you into heaven?
No, well, I think obviously treat others how you want to treat. I think. Well, you talked a lot about Islam there. Like in Islam, they do charitable stuff every year, don't they?
Yeah.
They go out and they feed homeless people, and they
Part of their money is supposed to go. It's one of the five.
charity. Yeah, there's a charitable kind of thing within their religion.
I wanted to convert, but
You ever give money? Do you ever give money to a homeless person or
I do that.
charity?
Yeah, I'll buy like a guy drinks if he asks for it, or give him money if I have it.
Yeah, that's all.
I guess that counts.
Yeah, oh yeah, that massively
They got to do a
counts.
trek though, a pilgrimage, right? In the desert, Muslims.
They have to.
Well, they don't have to, but they should, unless they can't financially afford it. That's a
Oh, to go to Mecca.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
Medina.
I feel like I wouldn't do well in the sun.
But I think they drive there
No,
to Mecca.
they don't. I guess they do.
They drive. They just drive there.
I thought it was a walk.
Because I've seen.
I thought it was a walk to the desert.
I've seen road signs. I've seen pictures of it. You're driving along the motorway, and then there's a sign, and there's a part in the roads leading up to Mecca. It does say in the signs not to drive by this point unless you're Muslim.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's the part of the.
That's their sacred place. So the road signs essentially listen, if you're Muslim, you can keep going along this road. It leads into Mecca. But if you're not Muslim, don't.
This might be kind of picky, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but maybe that sign should say "pull over," and why don't you walk?
to Mecca.
Part of it should be.
I'd imagine, like, because the amount of people that go, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of it, and I've talked to people who've been there. Like, it is so crowded. So I'd imagine it's like when you go to like a concert, that you probably have to park really far away.
Yeah, and then walk.
And
so
then
there's
walk.
part of it is a pilgrimage. But pilgrimage is a strong word for a long walk.
Yeah, but then when they get there, I think they walk around in a circle. So I don't think it's maybe a pilgrimage, but I guess the journey to
A commute.
I guess at one time, I'd say that when it first came up with it, it was a pilgrimage because at one time there wouldn't have been cars and planes to get there.
Yeah, and they all get on together and they
all
got
go
to
same
cross
together,
through
yeah,
something. Now they get to blast the AC. It's
Yeah.
easy living.
Yeah, it's got easier to
It's
get
pretty
there.
disrespectful. I'm sorry.
It's got easier to get. Right, I'm going to give you another one, right? So here, you meet God, you're in heaven, right? He's let you in, and he says to you, Willie, I'm going to let you live a second life. I'm going to let you be reincarnated, and you can live a second life. But there's a catch. You have to change one aspect. You can change more than one aspect if you want, but you have to change at least one aspect of your race, gender, or sexuality. What would you change and why? So what would you choose to come back as?
To come back, and I have to pick to change one thing.
Well, you change one thing of either your race, gender, or sexuality.
Ooh, and do everything all over again?
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll have a second life.
You might have to cut this part out. I'd become a lady and do stand up again and just fucking kill.
Right.
Just go blow everybody out of the water. Because there's like, for every one female comic, there's like 20 guys.
Right.
And so that's what I would do. I'd come back and make way more fucking money.
Okay, so you come back as a female comic, and what do you think would the pros and cons of being a female would be?
Oh my God. Endless cons.
Cons?
To being a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think women's lives are way harder. So I don't think I actually would truly want this. But
because in theory, you know, anyone who's not a straight white man should pick to come back as a straight white man. And some straight white men should have been like, do you know what? I'll sit this one out.
so is the right answer that I should just add?
No, there's no right answer.
How much do I change it? Can I just slightly change my skin color to like a little less pale?
Well, you would have to change race.
Entire race?
Entire race, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm like from Canada.
But
So I
the
come back-
nationality isn't race.
So I guess I'm ancestrally Irish.
Yeah, but that's Irish people, and you're like a white Canadian people. Like
Yeah.
we're not a different race. We're a different nationality, but we're not
Okay.
different. We're not a different race.
Okay.
I think that's right.
I think probably I think realistic maybe a black guy.
A black guy, yeah,
I think I think that'd be pretty fun.
yeah.
I did not all of it. Probably most of it. These are really hard questions.
It's an interesting question. Like,
Whatever Tad says after this is what I want to be.
Yeah. Well, Tad might just want to be you.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, no, a black female comic, maybe.
A black female comic. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because black comics are also like, I think they're the funniest. I think I think stand-up comedy is like a black American art form.
Yeah. Jazz.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Yeah. I think the best people who've ever done comedy are black Americans.
Sincerely.
Yeah.
And then any white guys that do it are outliers to the, I think they're exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, it's like a black American art form. So maybe I'd do that.
A black woman. Anyway, what the difficulty then when you were starting off at open mic? Would you be worried about getting to the gigs, coming back from the gigs?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I'd probably be worried. I mean, if you're a woman, you got to be worried about. I shouldn't smile when I say this, but you got to be worried about being attacked and harassed and everybody wanting you. But it would be nice. Like, do I know what my last life was?
Yeah,
I do know. In the hypothetical?
Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
So if I come back with all the information, then I have a better understanding of what guys are like actually, thinking and doing and stuff like that. And then I'd come back in America and I'd have a gun. That's what I would have.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of fix that. And I wouldn't have a problem pulling a gun on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do. Come back as a black female comic in America.
Fully armed.
Fully armed. Ready to shoot.
Okay, right. Here's another one for you. What would you prefer to live forever or die now? It's essentially the vampire question.
Die now.
Die now, yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Forever's ever, man.
Yeah.
Forever's ever. And yeah, I'd rather die now. I feel like if I died right now, I'd be really upset. I feel bad for like my family and stuff, but everybody's gonna die.
Yeah.
So it's either I see them later, or I never see them ever again at some point. And I'd rather see them later than never see them again.
Yeah.
That's how if I am gonna see them again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. Because if I live forever, I would for sure never see them again. If I die now, I might see them again.
Right. Yeah, it's a tricky one. My instinct would always be to say live forever. And I remember the first time when I started asking other people, nobody else was saying it. And then I started to realize I hadn't really thought it through.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
because are you scared of death?
No, I'm not scared of it. I just enjoy life. But I met a woman once who was 99, right?
Yeah.
And I said to her, I was like, oh, you're 99. And I said to her, will you live to be 100? And she said, oh, Jesus, I hope not.
Yeah.
And I was stunned. I was like, I couldn't believe it. What she said.
Yeah, sure.
And she said,
what was she doing at the time? Was she doing push-ups and running around, or
no? She's just like an old woman I met, and
in pain constantly.
Well, what she said to me was, she told me that she was completely done with life. She'd had enough. She told me that all her friends were dead, and she said she had grandkids and great grandkids, and she said she did enjoy them, but she said she just didn't really get young people. And I think when she was talking about young people, she talked like people in their 80s. She said she just didn't really get young people. They didn't make sense to her. Like, and her friends were dead, and she was just
Who was this woman?
She's just a lady? Just an old woman.
How did you meet her?
I met her. I was working in the pharmacy, and I met her, and she came in, and she had a prescription. I could see in the prescription her age and date of birth, and I could see she's 99. I was like, oh wow, you're 99. I was like, do you think you live to be 100? And I expected, I don't know what I expected. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and what I got was, geez, like, and it was so like, subconscious reaction. She didn't think about it. She instantly just went, Jesus, I hope not.
Yeah.
And I was stunned.
I get that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I was like thinking about that. I mean, I'm 30 and I'm not done, but I can imagine what it would be like to be done.
Yeah.
Because there's days where I'm like, yeah, when I was 18, 19, 20, I thought, people are great. And I'm like, I get how you don't care about people.
Right.
I get how you just don't want to think about it.
Yeah,
with all like the terrible stuff that's happening in the world, it's hard to like care about everything because it's hard. It's just harder to care about everything that's going on because shit's happening all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
And when you're younger and you're a bit more naive and less informed.
No one's done anything to you yet. No one's cheated on you yet. No one's like taken your money. You haven't paid taxes over and over and over again.
Yeah.
30%. You know, you've driven on a road enough times, and like this is the whole argument of like, oh, well, you know, if you don't pay taxes, you don't have roads. It's like, well, I don't like driving. I don't like any of this. I have to drive to work. I don't like going to work to pay tax. So like, I can't imagine being 99 and being like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Imagine being taxed.
Yeah, but at 99, she wasn't working. You know, no one's working at 99.
Okay,
she wasn't getting in her car, driving to a factory to put in a shift to pay fucking 30% tax. She's getting a pension, like she's
fair enough. Okay,
do you know what I mean? I'd imagine your outgoings are fairly. You know, she's not
minimal, right?
Yeah, she's popping.
All her friends are dead. She doesn't have to get anyone a birthday present.
You're going into the pharmacy, you're getting some opioids, you're popping pills, you're watching telly, and you're hallucinating.
That sounds pretty nice.
Yeah,
what is she complaining about? That sounds like a dream. Popping opioids and watching daytime TV.
What did the Pope? Right, here's one for you. Right,
okay.
The Pope and the Dalai Lama. I don't know if they said this together or they both said it at different times, but they have both said that humor is a way of getting closer to God. Do you feel, since you started comedy and from doing comedy and from making people laugh, that has helped bring you closer to God?
I think it brings people together. I don't know about God. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of up to God. I think. Yeah, I mean, it takes. Oh, man, I don't know. It just sounds wanky saying it, but yeah, it takes. It brings people together, and you can, when you make fun of stuff that really people care about or that people think matters, and you kind of shatter that illusion, you kind of realize we're all in this together,
right? And
so yeah, that might bring us closer to God.
So it creates a bit of connectivity, maybe breaks down some fears.
Yeah, I think so.
And it makes people feel less alone. So all of that.
What do you think the Pope laughs at?
It depends on which Pope. I don't know which guy is in now. Like the only one I kind of remember.
There's an American guy in now.
Oh, the American guy's in now. So fucking America. He grew up in Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's he laughing at? Fucking
Eddie Murphy,
Simpsons, or
Hannibal Buress came from Chicago.
Beverly Hills Cop was Detroit, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Tense race relations.
Hard to know. I think it was the other Pope, the one before him. He invited a load of comedians to the Vatican. Did you ever see
really?
that? Yeah.
Imagine bombing in front of the Pope.
No, he didn't invite them to perform.
That'd be awful.
He invited them to a mass. Like a few comedians from Ireland went, but I think most of them were kind of American. And he invited like 30 or 40 comedians.
How many farts went off in that mass? That's what I do.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to watch. The Pope Must Die. That's a good comedy movie. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Johnny Coltrane, I think is the name of the guy who's in it. That's a very funny movie. Maybe he likes Monty Python.
Yeah, probably some silly stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really follow it enough to know what the Pope would laugh at. But he is American, isn't he?
He's the American guy. Yeah, that's who they got now. He used to be a German guy. That'd be a tough laugh.
Yeah, the German guy didn't. Yeah, he didn't seem to have a sense of humor. Like,
well, they couldn't have dark senses of humor because then they'd meet a leper and go, you know, they'd laugh. They're meeting so many people who are in the worst positions.
I don't know if they're meeting many lepers now, though, are they?
I don't really know. I don't know.
Still a lot of leprosy in the world.
I jumped further than my knowledge actually has. I don't know what lepers are. I thought they were just people. I thought they were like amputees.
Well, it was an illness that was prominent at the time of Jesus, but I don't think it's as prominent now. That's my understanding of it. I don't know. So we kind of finish up on this one. Well, actually, I got maybe two more questions. So this one is. So you read that book. We got the name of it wrong. We thought it was Richard Dawkins, but it was
Christopher Hitchens.
Christopher Hitchens. What was it called? What was it called again?
God is Not Great.
God is Not Great, right? And it's he puts up it's a polemic where he's basically explaining to you why he thinks religion is bad for the world.
He takes every argument for religion and eviscerates all of it.
And takes it apart, right?
Yeah.
So the question I was going to ask you, do you think religion is good or bad for society? And why? So he obviously thinks he strongly believed it was bad for society.
Yeah, but if it wasn't around, he wouldn't have a fucking job. So
He's dead now anyway.
Well, okay. Well, then he would.
And his job was he was a writer for Vanity Fair magazine. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
he's in hell now. So who cares? So wait, what was the question?
So do you think religion is good or bad for society, and why?
I think it's good for people. I think it's bad for society.
Why do you think it's bad for society?
Because the government, like, once you introduce like a religious body as a government, then it's all up to the rules.
Well, now that's a different question. Like, you know, a religious government like a theocracy, like Iran.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that, but like
Yeah.
is having religion. So, like, for example, China is a non-religious society. There's no religion in China,
And things are going great there.
so you think so you think
I was teasing.
Yeah.
I don't think things are very good there. Well,
so like if you had a button here and it's like you could get rid of religion, would you get rid of it?
I don't think you could.
No, but just theoretical, Willie.
Sorry, I'm fighting
Jesus
you.
Christ.
Theoretically, I'm sorry, I'm fighting your questions. No, I don't think I would get rid of it. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd change the world much from what it is. I don't think it would. I don't think it would make the world a better place. I think it would.
Leave a vacuum that something else would have to fill.
Yeah, I think that's my point. Is there's so many charismatic people that I have met that I would think would be extremely dangerous if all the playing fields were level in terms of religion. Like if there was no religion and it was just up to like charismatic people to like claim people and lead them, we'd be fucked, you know?
Right.
So it's, you know, having like some structures aren't that bad. I don't think the world is good or bad. I don't know. This is a tough question. I feel like I'm too stupid to answer it.
And the final question we'll finish on this is, if you were to give you're 30 years now, if there was a young person watching this, a teenager or something, you would give them some kind of moral message or moral guidance. What kind of moral message would you give people?
Fucking figure it out.
How do you mean figure it out?
Go do it. Go do all the things that you think you're gonna do. Do all of that. Go do all of it, and not even in like a hopeful way, like, you know, follow your dreams. I just mean like, there's literally nothing I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna do. I've never told anyone anything and then they've done it. No one's ever listened to anything I've said.
You're not telling them what to do. You're just kind of giving them like a kernel of wisdom from your life.
Oh man.
So like treat others how you would want to be treated, or that kind of thing.
It's not all gonna end. That's one thing. No, it's not all gonna end, and all these people aren't gonna go away.
It's not all gonna end, right? And all these people are not gonna go away.
I say this to comics sometimes, especially newer comics, when they're complaining about another comic.
Yeah.
All the worst people you know in comedy are gonna be here for the longest.
Right.
And all your favorite people in comedy are not gonna be here for very long.
Okay, that's
They're either gonna get really successful and you're not gonna see them very much, or they're going to realize that this isn't serving them in their lives anymore, and they're going to quit. The funniest people that I know are not famous. They're living quieter lives as comics, or quieter lives as human beings and just a part of the world. So all of my favorite people in comedy that I've met are sort of on the outside now, and I don't see them very much. And all the worst people I've ever met in comedy are ruthlessly pursuing it. So all the people that you really, really don't like, they're probably going to be here for a while.
Right.
And all your best friends and your favorite people, they're gone.
It's very, very hopeful.
That sounds bad. I mean, if you're going to pursue the thing that you want to pursue, that's what it's going to take.
That's what it's going to take. Very hopeful message there to finish on.
Sorry.
But I'd just like to say thanks again for watching. This is Opium and the Masses with myself, Jack Hester. And thanks again, once again, to Willy Hannigan. Willy, do you want to plug anything before we go off air?
Yeah, I got solo shows that I do here in London. Follow me on Instagram, and that's where I post all my stuff and post clips and YouTube. I got a whole special on there, and I put up stuff on there sometimes too. So yeah, follow me if you liked it. If you didn't, we'll see you later.
Super stuff. Thanks a million, Willy. Thank you. Now we're all done. Do we know if Tad's here, or would there have been anyone to let him in?